Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a good day because I want to talk to you about how to push through a stall and also how to recognize what you're doing to stall yourself out. So if that kind of information is something you want to listen to, then just keep watching. Okay, so today's topic is exciting because since I'm back into the health coaching world on Optavia, I've had lots of you come after me and say, I want you to be my coach. And while I'm diving into that again, it's been amazing, I have to say. But one of the things that I'm slowly starting to see already with some people is they start off really strong and they're doing everything right. Everything, weighing and measuring everything. And then they have a stall. Well, what they think is a stall. I'm not talking about several weeks in a row. I'm talking about like all of a sudden the brakes go whoop, and on the scale, it's not moving. So when this happens, what I do as a coach is I have my clients send me a food diary every night for a couple of days. I want to see what they're eating. So if you're a coach out there and you have clients that are telling you that they're stalling out and they don't know why and they're so focused, have them create a food diary, writing it down every time they eat anything. And then at the end of the day, have them send it to you. This way you can look and see what they're eating and drinking and make sure that there's nothing askew. One of the common denominators that I find in clients that are stalling out is across the board, has to do with the fat, condiment, and extra. What I mean extra is, okay, I did a video a while back on cooking spray. That is almost always something that we don't even think about. When you go to the store and you buy a can of cooking spray and you look at the back, it says 0 all the way down. But when you don't take a look at the serving size, you can just go and spray that pan until, you've got a nice big layer of oil. Don't forget, in that can, it's oil. There are tons of calories and tons of fat in that can. In fact, if you took that whole can and added it all up, you would have enough calories and fat to sustain life for I don't know how long. So we have to be mindful. Another thing that I think people forget is spices. Now, I historically have never counted spices because I use them very, very minimally. I'm not a big spice person. I don't like hot and spicy food. If I use a little bit of Mrs. Dash, maybe like a tip of cinnamon in my French fouillon, that's probably it. You already know that because you watch how I cook. I don't really add a lot of things. A little bit of pepper, but sometimes people are adding a lot. In fact, onion powder, garlic powder, those paprika, they all have carbs, and that's why Optavia wants you to count them. So, for example, if you use half a teaspoon of cinnamon, that's a condiment. People aren't thinking that way. And when they send me their food diary, another common denominator that I notice more so than not is people forget to have their good fat. If you're choosing here, in fact, I'm going to show you. Coach Lori has it, right? Okay. So when you place your first order, you get this book. I'm going to show you. Let me just get to the cover. So you get this little book. Here it is. It comes with your first order, right? If you open to page, I want to say 18, you'll see this. This is your categories of lean, leaner, and leanest as far as proteins go. And you'll notice with each category, depending upon the protein, it'll tell you whether or not you can have a fat or 2 or none with your protein choice. For instance, if you choose salmon, let's say, right? You get a 5-ounce cooked portion, and because salmon is a fatty fish, the company says you don't need to add an extra fat in your day. And sometimes people forget that, and they'll actually add a fat in. Or if you look at the leaner category, chicken breast is on there, right? You're allowed one healthy fat with that. And sometimes people eliminate it altogether. They just forget to have their fat. They're not in the mood to have a fat, or they add too much fat. Or if you're listen to me like you're at a restaurant. If you're going to cook yourself something from the leanest category, which is usually where I fall into play, let's say shrimp, you're allowed 2 healthy fats with that. And again, when I see sometimes the client diaries, I notice they're forgetting their fat 9 times out of 10. And that is a big no-no. So if you're a coach or if you're in a stall, make yourself a food diary. Literally write everything down. It's worth the extra work. In fact, it only takes a couple seconds. Like, you could go on your phone into your note section and just create a diary for yourself. And then you could look at it yourself, and you can also say to your coach, hey coach, this is what I've been eating the last few days, and I've been in a stall. I was wondering if you could take a peek at it and help me out. And I would probably guess to say, if you have a good health coach, they'll know right away by just looking at that food diary. Another thing is beverages. So while we can have unsweetened almond milk, that counts as a condiment. It doesn't count as a beverage. While you can have coffee or tea, that's coffee or tea. It's not a beverage. The required fluid intake comes from water. And even though sometimes I'll count part of my fluid intake from my coffee, I try not to, because coffee naturally dehydrates you. And so you're not getting the full benefit if you were just to have a glass of water. So my recommendation is 64 ounces of water a day. I don't feel like you need more than that. And if you do, you're flushing out precious electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium. When we start on a plan like this to begin with, we're dumping a lot of water because our bodies are letting go of all of the stored glycogen in your muscles. And when that happens, our kidneys start working a little harder and we flush it out. You know, you're running to the bathroom probably every hour to urinate, and that is totally fine. But if you're not replenishing your water, you're going to get headache, leg cramp, you're going to feel tired, you're just going to feel like crap. Sodium is coming out too. Another thing that I want to say in regards to stalling is sometimes clients decide, I'm not hungry, because we lose that hunger usually when we're in a fat burn. You're either in fat burn or not. There is no in between. If you're doing the plan as it's written, you are in fat burn, and our hunger does, I wouldn't say it goes away. It's not as strong. We're not as in tune to being hungry because our blood sugar levels are steady and they're even. Normally, when you're not on Optavia and you get that hunger, you're hungry, it's normally when your blood sugar starts to drop. That's a normal mechanism that our body has, like, hey, you better eat something because your sugar is getting a little low. But when you're on Optavia, the blood sugar literally just kind of stays steady. And that's so good for you. It's so good for you. You don't have those highs and lows. You don't get the fatigue. You don't get that like afternoon draw for coffee, even though I still do, because it's a habit. It has nothing to do with me being tired at 3 o'clock. And when you are in that fat burn, sometimes people aren't as hungry. And therefore they'll say, I didn't eat all my lean and green tonight. Wasn't hungry. Or I didn't eat 5 fuelings. I only had 4. And they just think that that's okay. But what happens is you're not getting the nutrients that your body needs to maintain homeostasis. Homeostasis is a word that we use in the medical world or just the human world to describe imbalance. Your body has to be in balance, and it will always, always, always try to do everything it can to stay in balance. And one of the reasons, or the main reason, is because your body's only job in life is to sustain your life. That's it. If you're too hot, your body will sweat and cool itself down. If your blood sugar drops, it'll force you to eat something so that it brings it back up. If you're like, your body is just naturally always going to be in balance. And on a plan like this, when the calories are pulled back a little bit, your body is well aware of what's going on. It knows like, We're not getting as many calories as we did last month. Wonder what's going on. And naturally, things will start to slow down just a little bit. Digestion slows down just a little bit. Things, right? Your blood pressure will be lowered. Your blood sugar will come down. That's why people on Optavia can most likely get off of any kind of diabetic medication unless they're type 1. And their blood pressure medication can also almost always, not every time, be pulled away from them. If it was an obesity thing, if it's just a blood pressure thing that's hereditary or for whatever reason other than because you're overweight, that's a whole other story. But I digress. So when you don't eat the right amount of fuelings or your lean and green, and in fact your condiments too, and your optional snack if you would like one, your body is below the lowest that it's been on since Optavia. And now your body's thinking, if I continue to burn that metabolism within that body that's not taking in what it needs, it's gonna die. And your body chemistry says, whoop, we're slowing down because I can't keep that fire raging if we're not getting logs thrown on the fire. So it slows down. And when you start adding a log to the fire every couple of hours like we're supposed to, that fire roars, and that fire is your metabolism. As soon as you pull back, fire's like, whoop, we need a log, but it's not coming, so we're gonna go this way. And another log didn't really, half a log, but it's not enough, so we're gonna go down. And that's how the body works. I hope that little picture makes sense to you. Those are some of the main reasons why people stall. Another reason could be simple. Sodium, right? Did you eat pickles the night before? Did you eat a salty meal the night before your weigh-in? Did you have soy sauce? Did you, right? Did you overdo a condiment? Did you overdo your optional snack? There's so many things that come into play. In fact, one of the biggest for me when I stall, it's crazy. I will naturally always have this problem. I've had it my whole life. Even on Optavia, I retain fluid. If I eat something salty, I'll hold on to water. If it's hot and humid in June, July, and August, I retain water. My weigh-ins are not as good as if it was dry and cold out. I know a lot of people get that. Women especially complain about that. Is it close to your period? Are you going through menopause? Are you sleeping enough? Are you stressed? Are you worried? Are you this? Are you that? Weight loss is never linear. Can we lose 1 to 2 pounds every week? Absolutely. But remember, it's not something that will always be for everyone. You're unique. You are you. I am me. We're all different. We're different ages, different genders. We do different jobs. We have different lifestyles. Some of us are active. Some of us are not active. Do you add more food to your day if you're active? Do you not? What's the thing with eating more fuelings while you're awake? I have been hearing from some of my clients that past coaches are like, if you're awake, you eat. What? Okay, I'm going to dispel that right now. Here's the logic. This is the nurse talking now. If you're awake, if let's say you ate all 5 fuelings and your lean and green and your condiments and your fat and your water and it's the end of the day and you're awake watching TV and you're sitting on the couch and you and your loved one are floating through Netflix, binging, but you're sitting on the couch. Technically, you're awake, right? But you're sitting there on the couch. You could pretty much be asleep with your eyes open. Why are you still eating? Why are these coaches telling you to eat more fuelings? It makes no sense. The theory, I think, behind it is if you've done all of those things and you're still active, if you're a nurse and you're floating through your shift at night and it's like, you can go through 10,000 steps in like an hour. If you are somebody who plays tennis after all of that, if you're active and you need a little bit more protein to your day, talk to your coach. Let them recommend. There is no cookie cutter, right? But if you do all of that and you're just sitting there awake, or you're at a job behind a desk and you're still awake, but you're not moving and burning calories and energy, don't eat an extra fueling. Don't let these people tell you that just because you're awake, you have to eat. Makes no sense. Why pull yourself out of fat burn if you're not burning what you need to put back? Hear me out. The reason we fuel ourselves, right, is because we eat, and by the time we eat again, most of us have already burnt off that 110 calories. Then we fuel ourselves again. Then by the time we eat again, we've burnt that off. Then we fuel again. Then we burn it off. You see where I'm going with that? But if you've done all of that and you're just sitting and you're not burning, but your eyes are open, why the hell are you eating again? Okay, I don't mean to come off blunt like that, but I want you to understand where some of the coaches out there are wrong with that. I've even spoken to a nutritionist at Optavia. We've talked about this. We're in agreement. So if you're not actively moving, if you didn't have an activity during the day where you were, 500 calorie deficit and you're sweating and whatever, that's great. And maybe you don't have to refuel, but just that whole phrase, if you're awake, it was like, if your feet are on the ground, eat. If you're on your feet, eat. What? Okay. No. But don't take my advice, because again, I don't know your medical history and all that other stuff. Talk to your coach about that. Pop this question into their head and be like, hey, you told me if I'm awake at night, I should eat an extra fueling. What's the purpose behind it? Ask them that. Why are you telling me to eat another fueling just because I'm awake? I would love to know the answer. And if you have one, leave it in the comments below, because I want to see what other people are telling you, because that is just makes no sense. And I'm going to give you an analogy. If you just went to the gas station, here's your car, and you just put gas in it, and you're driving and you use up all your gas, you would stop, fuel up. Then you're driving and the gas is gone, fuel up, right? That's kind of an analogy of how we go about our day. And at the end of the day, you park in the driveway and your car's sitting there. Would you then go run and get a gas can and put more gas in there if it's just sitting? If it's full of gas and you're just parked at the end of the day? No, you wouldn't, right? Okay. Another thing. We want everybody to eat within an hour. Some people say a half hour, some people say an hour. I've heard 2. I don't know. I can't get a full-blown answer on this, but they want you to eat pretty close to your waking time. Totally understandable. We want the metabolism to get a jump start. Get going. Eat that first meal. But here's the thing. If you're sleeping in your bed, let's just say it's 5 a.m. and you're still sleeping, right? You're not going to purposely set your alarm clock to wake up at 5 to stuff a fueling in your mouth. Am I right? Okay. Most of the time, people need a little bit of a few minutes when they get up. You go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, maybe you want a cup of coffee, then you entertain the meal. Don't go into panic mode that you have to literally open your eyes and run to your kitchen and eat before you do anything, because I'm getting that kind of feedback also. My coach said the first thing to do before I go to the bathroom is eat. Guys, think about this. 5 minutes ago, you were laying in your bed sound asleep. Your body doesn't know the clock. Your body only knows to keep itself alive. So you wake up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, and you have your coffee, you're sitting at the table, maybe looking at the newspaper, and you're not bouncing around, doing your activities, getting involved, burning calories. It's okay to wait an hour. It's okay to wait 2. It's unique to everybody. The best thing you can do for yourself is listen to your body. Yes, we have parameters. Yes, we want you to do certain things, but we're all unique and we all have to do what suits us. The only thing I can say is Optavia, you have 2 choices. Fat burn, out of fat burn. If you want to reach your goal in the fastest amount of time, the most linear, the easiest way, then you stay in fat burn. If you're willing to cheat a little bit, wait a couple days, get back into it, all these other things, then don't stay in fat burn. To stay in fat burn, you follow the plan. If you don't want to stay in fat burn, you eat when you don't need to, you don't measure, you don't weigh, you go out to eat a lot, you drink out on the weekends. That's it. And that's fine if that's what suits you. But as a coach, it's a little tricky to coach people when they're not willing to stick to the plan because they want answers and we have a hard time giving them. If you say to me, if I'm your coach and you say to me, hey, I want to go out drinking, or you don't even say that and you just say, last weekend I went out and I got tanked, but it was worth it. It's a lifestyle, like all this other stuff. That's so true. But then don't tell me in a few days, like, I don't know what's wrong. I can't lose weight. My scale's a mess. Guys, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Life is a journey and things happen and we have situations maybe we want to partake in. Maybe we want to go out drinking. Just realize though that your health coach is not going to be able to magically wave a magic wand and fix it. You're doing the work. You are accountable, not your coach. You are. What you put in your mouth, what you decide to do every single day affects your goal time frame. If I set a goal, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 months, it's doable. But you have to know that you have to follow the plan. If you deviate, you probably won't be in fat burn, or you'll do intermittent fat burn. 1 week you'll be in fat burn, the next it takes 3 or 4 days, then you'll go back into fat burn, then it takes 4 days. For what I can see, especially for myself, when I go out of fat burn, sometimes each time it almost takes longer to get back in. And you lose momentum, you get discouraged. It's like, this thing doesn't work. It's not the plan that doesn't work, it's us. So let's stay focused. Let's stay on plan. You're paying for this. You're paying a couple of $100s a month. Why? Why cheat? Why, when your coach says, this is what I think you should do, and there's pushback? There should be none of that. In fact, I tell my clients, not everybody, but up front, I like to tell people, look, I'm here to health coach you. I'm not a magician. I'm not a physician. And I'm not going to be on your case. I'm here to help you and guide you. But I cannot take a client on that's not willing to do the work. It's truly exhausting. It's exhausting. And if you have a coach like me who's very empathetic, we've been through this, we've all, we have a commonality, the personalities match. Those are the kinds of people I like to coach. But I love to coach people that are committed and dedicated and want this more than anything. So with that being said, I hope some of these answers and ideas have helped you push through your stall, keep you from entering a stall, and again, work with your health coaches. That's what we're here for. We're here to help, provide you with information and guide you. But remember, we're not magicians. We can't do it for you. The work is up to you. All right, guys, I hope you liked today's video. And if you have any questions, leave them below. And I will see you in my next video. And as always, remember, we can do this. Yes, we can, as long as we do it together. See you in my next video.